This is a Dartless Corset tutorial. This is the result of what you will likely get if you follow this video step by step. And please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, drop your opinion, and most especially subscribe. So now the first thing you do is to figure out the paper that you're going to use. And for me, I'm going to be using an A4 paper because I want my boss to be white color and the paper for the body to be brown color. Yeah, am I making sense? Okay, now, so the first thing I do is to figure out if this paper can be able to accommodate my boss. Actually, it does. So now I try to mark my starting point. So this starting point, I'm gonna be using the starting point as my underbust. Then I'll go in with the nipple points. Then I ruled it out. So after the nipple point, the next thing I'm gonna mark is my chest or the cleavage line. Actually, I didn't use a chest line. I have to come down a little because I want the cup to be a bit revealing. So that's why I made it to be somewhere 8 or 8.5. So then I ruled it out. So the next, actually, the my client boss is 14.5. Okay, and yeah, I try to mark out my measurements and what it means. The top measurement is the chest line, the nipple, then the last one is the underbust. So the next thing I mark is my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4. And because this client is actually slim, and I didn't take the measurement myself, and I keep wondering, why does this person have a big bust and a small body? Well, let's keep going. So I'm going to rule out the nipple to nipple points from top to bottom. So the next thing I have to confirm that my side bust is up to 4, because if you're working with a nipple of 4, you have to confirm that your side is up to that number that you're working with. So the side is up to 4, and you can see what is left out. So for the width of this cup, that is the size of the pad that we're going to use. That is 8. So 4 on the left side, 4 at the right side. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to mark 1 inch after the nipple points and down. That is up and down. I'm going to mark 1 inch up and down. This is just like to guide you on how to curve your cup. So at the side, I'm going to take my dart intake, total of 2 inch, that 2 inches, one at the left and one at the right. So after taking out my dart, this is me trying to show you how to curve this. So if you don't have a curve, you can just use your hand to guide yourself properly. Actually, I'm not even that that fantastic with ruler, but then you can just use your hand to blend this marking. Okay, so let's proceed. So at this nipple point, we're gonna remove a dart intake of 1.5. So we're going to distribute it equally, so it's not going to be up to 1 inch, something like half, quarter, something like that. So we're gonna mark it the same thing I'm gonna do on the side bust and at the front bust. Okay, so after marking this, you have to connect it the way I'm connecting. Please don't forget this nipple point to connect to the front bust. That's the center bust. Then up and down. So you also do the same thing at the side bust when you're done with this marking of the center bust. So you can see I'm not gatekeeping in anything here. Like, this is what I know, and it's only what I know that I can give. You understand? So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, do that right now. So now, so after removing my dart intake, the next step I'm going to take is to minus half inch from top to the end, to the bottom of that. Just follow what I'm doing, please. So I minus half inch downwards, and I repeat the same thing at the side bust. Okay, So I minus at the front bust, the center bust, and the side bust to half inch. So now, once you are done minusing this half inch, this is where you now have to bring in your creativity. You understand? So what do I mean by bringing your creativity? You can create the style that you want for your cup. You understand? So from what you can see now, I'm trying to kind of show you what you can likely do. If you want your cup to come down, if you want it to go up, if you want it to have a river kind of design, that's where you now have to impute all those crazy stuff. But for me, I want mine to have like a sweetheart neck, so I have to just come down a little. I don't want it to be too much because it's already low, so I don't want it to be too much. So, and I want the cup to to kind of have this U shape, a bit U or C shape. Yeah, so that's why I'm slanting it like this. So you can decide to take yours to any design that you want. Thank you. So the next thing now is to connect from that to the underbust marking. So here you just blend. Don't forget though, if you don't know how to use ruler, use your hand and point it first. What I normally do, I dot, then and now blend the top so it will be straight. If you don't have a ruler, please. So at this point, I think you are following up properly, and yeah, I'm gonna bring this closer for you to see it very well. Okay, so this is what we need for the. You can see that I did not remove my darts from the center line. I removed it from the side, but some people can also as well remove from that point. Depends on the effect you really want. Though I've not tried that one, but I'll still try that method. you know so I have to just number my cup, 1 2 3. So I indicated the arrow that will join with each other. So if you notice, number one and number two have one arrow, and number three and yeah, and number one's the other side have two arrows. That's to show you which side is going to join with each other. I don't know if I'm making sense, but please try and understand. Okay. So I'm done trimming now my corset cup, and so next thing I do is to just join these two corsets together with my masking tape. So by doing this, I already want to figure out what my cup looks like. I don't even need to sew this, and I can just know what the cup looks like. So this is me trying to join it up together. Yeah. At this point, I guess you love the way the cup is coming out. So now this is where you need to pay much attention. So the next thing I'm going to mark out now is my hip measurement, which is the highest circumference for the blouse. Okay, because I'm just trying to to guide on the paper that we're going to use, on the the width and the length of the paper we're going to use. So I mark out my hip divided by 4, which is 42 divided by 4, which is 10 and a half plus 1 inch allowance. So I ruled it out. So now this is where I'm going to end for this top, for this blouse, I mean, and you can see my starting point there. So I didn't really give an indication of where my blouse length is going to be, because I'm going to be using a long paper that I'm sure there's going to be enough. So when I'm done reeling out the area that I want. So now pay much attention. This is where you need to apply these tricks. So I have to measure my chest line from the starting point, which is 8. Don't forget, please. See, from there is 8. Then from 8 to the underbust. So that place becomes my new underbust measurement. Do you understand? So that place becomes my new underbust. So from that underbust, that is where you can now get your half length and the blouse length. I don't know if you are getting me now. So my half length is I actually used 4 for the half length. So after marking out the underbust, the next thing I impute is the half length, like I'm doing, And after imputing the half length, the next thing I'm going to impute is the blouse length. So as you can see now, this 15 and then 19. So as you can see, we've ruled out everything. So I'll just kindly, name what we actually did. So this part is the half length, and this upper part is the underbust, and the last part, that's this one I'm naming now, is the blouse length. So hope you can see clearly. So now let's pay more attention than we never did. So I brought my cup to the underbust, and you can see I gave a space of half inch, so which I marked. So this half inch, was gonna be it's gonna be that center part of the corset. Okay. So now just have to rule it out straight. So now, we are rolling it out straight to at the point where the cup stops. You understand? So you have to roll it out straight at the point where the cup stopped. So after this, the next thing I do is to just go ahead to, tape down this cup. So it won't be shifting. I don't want a situation where I'll be doing something, the thing will be shifting. So I just have to tape it down. So once I'm done taping it down, I'll go ahead and mark the ending point of that cup. So that place, I'll just draw a straight line from there. So this happens to be my new um, chest line. And after this, the next thing I do is to go ahead and impute the shoulder measurement. Please use the your correct shoulder measurement for this dress. And for my client, it was actually 7, but I used 8, which I later corrected. So in your own measurement, please use your actual shoulder measurement. So at this point, I mark the midpoint for the armhole, coming by half inch. So if you'll be following my previous video, this would definitely not be a problem. So just go back and watch if you have a problem with this. Okay, so now let's continue. So the next thing I'll impute is my bust measurements, which is 34 divided by 4, which is giving me 8.5 plus half inches. That's for sewing. Then I did the same for the waist measurement, which is I actually used 28 plus half inches. That's making it 7.5. Then for the hip measurement, I'm gonna be using my exact hip, which is 42 plus half inch, making it 11. So now, after marking all these vital points, the next thing you do is to connect them together, just like the way I'm trying to show you. So if you don't have a ruler, please know how you can use your hand to to freestyle this stuff, so the line will be straight. Okay, so this is me trying to connect mine together, and yeah, so this is the result. And the next thing I'm going to do is to blend my cup to my shoulder part together. So remember, if you're going to cut a net or a two net or a skin net for this dress, it has to it has to be to align together, so you can have a place that you actually join them together. So from this cup, I came down by half inch, then blend it up to the side, as you can see. So after blending this up, I also went ahead to to dot it round, just like I'm doing. So this is me trying to indicate my cup, the round of my cup. So after dotting it out, I'll also rule it out. Okay. So I also went ahead to adjust my shoulder measurement, which I told you earlier that it was more than my client's body. I said it earlier. My client is a slim client and she has a big bust, and yeah, so I have to adjust it. Okay. So as you can see, I'm done adjusting the shoulder. If you use your correct shoulder, you will naturally have this result. And I avoided freestyling my hand, then using the ruler, and it gave me a better result. So forget about this old measurement here. So the next thing I do is to just cut out the part that I'll be needing, and proceed to the back side. So for the neck, for the difference, the front part and the back side is gonna be similar but a little different. So for the neck of the back, I'm going to be using 2 inches, and every other part will be the same. But the armhole, that half inch that we removed from the front armhole, we're not going to remove it from the back armhole. So for the zipper area, it's just going to be 1 inch, because I'm not even going to add zip to this dress. So depending on you, so I have to go ahead to to note all the vital measurement, like the half length, the under bust, and the chest line, so that when I'm making my alteration for the back, I will have a proper guide on what I'm doing. Okay. So for the chest line area, I have to to slant it a little. So this is optional. You can decide to take this up if you don't want your back to be too open. You understand? You can decide to take this back. So now I will just slant this down, and the next thing I do is to indicate the style that I'm going to be using for my back yoke. You understand? So I indicated the style that I want, and yeah. So you can just do any style that you want at this point. So at the waistline, I'm going to be, to be subtracting 1 inch. That's to make to reduce the half length of the back, because actually the front half length and the back half length are not the same. So this is just me trying to remove it without actually removing it on the fabric. You understand? So the next thing I do is to cut. I'm gonna cut through that and overlay it. When I cut it, I will overlay it with a masking tape, and voila, that's my back half length. So I'm going to go ahead to minus 3.5 inches, or 2 inches, depending on how you want your waist to snatch or your body to snatch. So I minus 2.5 inch at the bust area, 2 inches at the waist, and at the downside, which is the hip, I minus 1.5. So this is what I use for my back snatching, allowance, or that intake though. So this is me trying to to rule it out, to connect to each other. So now this is where you're gonna fix your eyelets when you are done with the sewing. So the next thing I do is to just cut through all this. And please, as I'm cutting, you just kindly watch the video on how I was cutting to, so you're not gonna cut the wrong side. So at this point, we are not done yet, though. So don't go. We are still, we are still on the video. So now I'm just trying to measure up the cup, to make sure that everything aligns. And I remove the masking tape. So this is what I have for the cup. So you can just go ahead and cut out your fabric with the cup. So at the shoulder yoke, that's the yoke, the front and the back yoke, I have to join the both shoulders together so I can have one you know yoke. So remember that this means that we're not going to be joining the shoulders together, so meaning both the front and the back shoulder will be together. So in my next tutorial you'll be watching how I was able to make the yoke from this dress. You know how you can cut it out. So I actually cut the yoke out on the stretchy part. So that is it for the back yoke, and you also stitch it on the direction that my hand is going, and which I also do on my next video. I'll cut out all my back piece, cup on my main fabric and satin. Okay, so now we'll be using both satin and lining for this project, and this is my skirt. I also went ahead to to hairstyle it. So see you guys in my next tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe.